Hello, happy Mardi Gras. Today we're going to do Module 5, Lesson 4. Our objective is that we're going to represent and identify fractional parts of different wholes. We're going to start with an application problem. Okay, now this has several parts, so we're going to take it sentence by sentence. Mr. Ramos sliced an orange into 8 equal pieces. He ate 1 slice. Oops, there needs to be a period. Draw a picture to represent the 8 slices of an orange. Okay, so let's do that. Start with this. Okay, so here's my orange. I need 8 pieces. Well, I have 2, and I have 4. I know if I cut 4s in half, I get 8s. So make my X right through. Let's count. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I did that. Now it says, shade in the slice Mr. Ramos ate. Okay. I think he ate this one. Okay. Moving on. What fraction of the orange did Mr. Ramos eat? Well, how many parts is it divided into? There was 8 parts, right? 8 parts. And how many did he eat? 1. So he ate 1/8. Okay, what fraction did he not eat? Well, let's count the other parts. It was divided into 8. And now we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, so we write 7/8. Now, yay, I'm done, right? Now, imagine that you are Mrs. Corlett, and you have to grade this. And you see a picture, and the picture looks good. Looks pretty good. And then you've got 2 fractions. You've got 1/8 and you have 7/8. How do you know what's what? They asked 2 questions. You have to write a statement, otherwise this makes no sense. So let's write the statement. Every time you do a story problem, you end it with a statement in words. And we're going to start with capitals, and we're going to end with periods. All right. Okay, so what fraction did Mr. Ramos eat? Mr. Ramos ate, how much did he eat? He ate 1/8. And then I'm going to put in parentheses 1 part of 8. Now, what fraction did he not eat? I'm going to come over here. The fraction that he did not eat is 7/8. Then I'm going to put this in parentheses. Period. Now, you're Mrs. Corlett, and you're given a really awesome picture and 2 statements. Do you have any question about what the answer should be? Nope. You don't even have to wonder. Besides, you know that when you write a good sentence, it makes everything tied together, and it gets your point across clearly. So we just got that point totally across, and we have 2 fantastic answers. I want to see that every time. Now, let's move on. Okay, now, tomorrow when you come to school, you're going to be doing stations. And in your stations, you're going to be doing different activities to make fractional parts from a whole. Okay, so let's talk about some of the fractional parts that you're going to be making, because you're going to see this in your homework. Let's see. One of the stations you're going to make halves. One of them you're going to make fourths. Please always spell this correctly. One you will make eighths. One you will make thirds. One you make sixths. One you're going to make ninths. One you're going to make fifths. Now, look how funny fifths is. Remember, it has that funky F in the middle. Okay, when you're going to make fifths, And the last one you're going to make tenths. Okay, now let's just practice a little bit to see if we can do that. Okay, it says halves. I'm going to use a rectangle for a half. If I make a half, how many parts is that? How many fractional parts? It's going to be 2. Halves is a fractional unit. All right, I just made 2 halves, right? Now let's make fourths. We have another rectangle. Go ahead and draw it. We want to make fourths. We're going to divide this into 4 pieces or partitions. I know that if I have this, I have 2, then I can cut this one in half, and it makes it more equal. All fractional parts are equal, always. Otherwise, somebody isn't happy. Okay, now, I always start, anytime I can break anything in half, and then in half again to make it more equal, that's what I do. Okay, so I know I can cut this, now I've got fourths. If I cut these, I need twice as many, so I cut these in half. And now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Eighths. I have eighths on my rectangle. Now let's do this one into thirds. Thirds is tricky. Thirds you just kind of have to eyeball. So it's about right here, and it's about right here. Okay? Now I know that 6 is 2 times 3. So if I'm going to draw my sixths, I'm going to do my thirds first, and then I'm going to divide those in half. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's make ninths. Okay, so I have my ninths. Now, I know that 3 times 3 is 9. That's about the only, besides the 1 times 9, that I can think of to get to 9. So I'm going to use thirds. I'm going to start with my thirds. Okay, so that's 3. Now, if I wanted to count by 3s to get 9, I would say 3, 6, 9. So that tells me I have to get 3 in each one of these thirds. So I divide this one into thirds. I'm going to divide this one into thirds. And I'm going to divide this part into thirds. Now how many do I have? 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It worked. Okay, now we have fifths. Oh, goodness. Fifths are kind of tricky, too. The hard part about fifths is that fourths are easy, but you need one more. So you really kind of have to eyeball. All right, so I'm looking up here, and I'm kind of comparing. I know if I'm going to get one more, I'm going to have a little bit smaller pieces. So I'm using my eyeball, trying to make it. That's pretty close. Do I have 5 pieces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, I made fifths. Okay, now let's make tenths. Make a rectangle. Now I'm going to use the same fifths. I'm going to draw kind of a line going down here, a line here, line here, line here. Now, I know that 10 is 2 times 5. So each one of my fifths, I need to cut them in half to make 2 pieces. So I'm just going to cut this one in half. I'm going to cut this one in half, this one in half, each one of these in half. And do I have 10 pieces? Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Now that we have these made, let's just do another little bit of a review. Let's do some shading. Okay, now I'm going to change my color so we can see it better. How about green today? Green's a good Mardi Gras color. Oops, green. Okay, now I'm going to shade in one of these. Okay, and then I'm going to shade in 3 of these. Okay, and then, how about 3 of these? We'll shade in 3 of these. Okay, and thirds, how about 2 of these? Okay, and sixes. Let's do 4 of these. And look what's going to happen. Look, it's almost the same size, isn't it? It actually is the same size of part that I just shaded in up here, the thirds. Okay, now ninths. Let's do the same piece. So let's go up here maybe. Try that. Okay, fifths, let's do 2. And tenths, let's do 4. All right. Now that we have them shaded, let's write their fractions. So, how many parts do I have? I have 2 parts, and 1 is shaded. So this is 1/2. Go ahead and write it right beside. Now, how many parts do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many are shaded? 3. So I have 3/4. Always spell that right. This one I have 8 parts, and I shaded 3. So I have 3/8. This one I have 3 parts, and I shaded 1, 2. So that gives me 2/3. This one I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts, and I shaded 4. So I have 4/6. Okay, now this one I had 9 parts, and I shaded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I have 6/9. Now notice that ninths doesn't have an E in there. Now this one I had fifths, and I shaded 2. So I have 2/5 with that funky F. This one I had it divided into 10 parts. I shaded 4 parts. So I have 4/10. Wow, that was a great review. You should have the fractional units written. You should have a model of that unit. You should have the ones that I have shaded, have these fractions written, as well as the word fractions. All right, excellent. Good luck with your homework, and I'll see you tomorrow.